Hi, my name is Larissa, and we're going to be talking about introducing parts of speech to adult learners. A lot of your adult learners have not seen this kind of information for a while, so I like to start with the verb and build on that from there, okay? So I like to introduce the verb as the heart of language, as the first part of speech, because all the other parts of speech are going to be either directly or indirectly related to the verb, with showing action, existence, or state of being, okay? All right, the next part of speech that I like to introduce is nouns and pronouns, okay? Nouns and pronouns. Because these are so directly related to the verb. If you have a verb such as plays, that verb needs a subject, and that subject would answer the question who or what plays, okay? So we could put a noun, a proper noun, like Suzette. Suzette plays, or she plays, or he plays, and we can talk about pronouns and nouns being used as subjects of the verb. Then we could talk about nouns or pronouns being used as the object of the verb, receiving that action. And so you're introducing sentence structure at the same time you're introducing parts of speech, which makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we could say, Suzette plays what? Well, let's say Suzette plays games. Okay. Now we have a sentence right here, Suzette plays. We have a verb and a subject. But here we have a more complete thought, Suzette plays games. And then we can introduce the rest of the parts of speech as making the sentence more interesting for students. Okay, we can introduce adjectives and talk about what adjectives look like and what they do. They give us more information about the words in the sentence, okay? So let's say that we're going to use an adjective to describe games. What kind of games does Suzette play? Well, let's say she plays video games. And here you can start introducing the idea of diagramming, which is a visualization of how words in a sentence are all related together. And so you can go ahead and show them a simple diagram form and talk about this being the subject, the verb, the direct object, an adjective, okay? And later on when you use diagramming to help them visualize more complex sentences and compound sentences, they won't be, they will have seen it before, and so it won't be something weird, and the visual really helps them. It's a wonderful visual map of language. Okay, then we can introduce adverbs as words that answer the question why, where, how, when, to modify the verb, or adjectives or other adverbs in the sentence. And we can start real simple, like she plays where. She plays video games in her room, or how she plays them. She plays video games loudly, okay? Let's say the word loudly. Most people are going to recognize that a word that ends with an ly is an adverb. We can talk about those forms of different types of adverbs. But loudly is a nice, clear adverb. It tells us how she plays, so we can talk about that as being used as a part of speech in this sentence, okay? Then we can talk about prepositions. And prepositions are mainly to give us more information about where, a location, or when something takes place. So many times prepositional phrases are adverbs. Sometimes prepositional phrases are adjectives, but those are for other lessons, not for the introductory. So we can just think of a simple preposition and ask your students for one, such as in. Suzette plays video games loudly in the den, okay? So you can show them this preposition in, and den is a noun, which is the object of that preposition. And you can just introduce the idea of the being an article adjective, okay? But don't go into a lot of detail because you'll overwhelm your learners there. Okay, so this tells us where, so this is another adverb phrase, but be sure that they recognize this as a preposition, the word in, okay? And you can introduce a list of prepositions or have them talk about some. Now we're going to introduce a conjunction Okay. There we go, conjunction. Most of your students will remember what conjunctions look like, or at least the basic ones like and, but, or, for, you know, those kind. So we can say Suzette plays video games loudly in the den, and then we can add more information to that. Or we can just simply make this a compound subject, and that's an easy way to introduce the conjunction. So instead of saying just Suzette, we'll say more than one person, okay? We'll say, Suzette and here's our conjunction, Suzette and Mark. And then, of course, we're going to make sure that the students, that we remove this to make this verb reflect a plural subject. Suzette and Mark play games. What kind of games? Video games. Where? In the den. How do they play them? Loudly. Okay, so all of these, we're adding more information and making the sentence more interesting. Okay, and then we've got the conjunction right here to join that compound subject of Suzette and Mark. And later on, you can show them how to use the conjunctions to join clauses and phrases to make the sentences complex or compound sentences, okay? Of course, the last part of speech is going to be the interjection. And be sure and talk about how this can't be put in the diagram. It has to be put a little bit apart because it's not actually directly related to any of the words in the sentence. It just draws attention to the idea or the thought, and it displays emotion. So I could say, oh, and just put this out to the side. That would be an interjection, or hey, or wow. Oh, Suzette and Mark play video games loudly in the den, you know, or wow, they play them loudly. Anyway, thank you for watching.